Hello and welcome to Weavy Office Hours, episode 003. Um, you know, Big ups to all our James Bond fans who will have another movie to watch this Friday. I am Andy, part of the Weavy team, here to join you as always for Office Hours, where we have our onboarding engineers, Dave and Mai, walk you through how to work with Weavy, as well as available to answer your questions live, should you have them. Without any further ado, here we are. Hi guys,
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
same here. Now I'm doing a little bit better because there's a new James Bond movie coming out. What? When did this
Yeah,
happen?
like on Friday.
Oh, this is the
That
one
was
with like
hard to
Billie
believe.
Eilish, right?
Yeah, yeah,
No, that
yeah.
was, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, no, that is.
She's like in it, or is
She
she singing a
absorbed.
song for it?
Yeah,
Ah, okay. Still, I mean, it's awesome.
yeah. I think it was supposed to come out like summer 2020, and then I don't know, something happened or whatever. That changed that.
History.
I don't follow the news. Um, must have been important. Um, Big exciting day in the world of tech yesterday. We wish all of our all of our friends at Facebook well. Uh, Sounds like it was a day.
Yeah,
It was
these
a great
things
day to be an
happen, yeah.
engineer.
Yeah, yeah. These items, do happen. So they brought back a line pretty fast. I was pretty impressed with that turnaround time for such a event that they were unsure of what had happened. Essentially,
For such a catastrophic
yeah.
thing. It is a I feel like that's the engineering equivalent of like the waking up the day of the test and you have no clothes and you didn't study. Like that dream.
Whenever whenever these like big outages happen at big companies, I think of like that SpongeBob meme where it's like like all the SpongeBob's running around his brain, like fires are going off, they're looking for like the file or whatever. And it's like everything's okay.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, what a great day for engineering, network uptime, all those fun things, those things we hold near and dear to our heart. But we're not here to talk about Facebook. That was last week when we were talking about React. Today we're here to talk about Angular, brought to you by Google. Uh, Google, the other ad company. Um, yeah, so you have prepared for us another wonderful tutorial. Would you mind just sort of setting that up for us, what we can expect, and also is there anything that people should do ahead of time before they start the tutorial?
So this week we are continuing our chat series. It's a little theme we have right now. This week we are going to help you set up chat in Angular, as you mentioned before. Um, you'll have to download the CLI, which we go over in the video. But as always, if you haven't gone through setting up the server SDK, follow the link below to go through the full tutorial and set that up before because in this tutorial, we're just setting up a chat.
And remember, chat is completely 100%, no equivocations, free. You can sign up right now by going to weavy.com and clicking the sign up button. Uh, no credit card required. You can get your license in a matter of minutes. So without further ado, here is setting up chat in a.
Today, we'll be going through this tutorial to add chat to your Angular application. Before we begin, be sure to install Angular CLI. You can do that by opening your Git terminal and paste in that script. Press enter, and it should start the install. Next, we are going to create a new Angular app. Open up your Git terminal, navigate to the folder where you'd like to create your application, and run the script. You can add routing. Once your application is created, go ahead and open it in your code editor. Copy these two script tags. Navigate to source, index.html, and paste those scripts into the head section. Be sure to change this to your server domain and make sure it is running. Next, we are going to create a Weavy service. The easiest way to do this is using the CLI. So copy this. If you're using Visual Studio Code, you can open a terminal from there, or you can use Git terminal. Paste that script here. The script created two files in the app folder. Navigate to the service.ts. We're going to now initialize the Weavy instance. Copy this code and paste it here. Essentially, what we are doing is we are declaring Weavy to be able to reference it in the service since it's defined globally. And here, we are creating a wrapper for the Weavy.space function for convenience and to initialize automatically on demand. You can also now use other functionality in Weavy since we exposed the Weavy instance as a property in the service. And to handle destruction, we are calling Weavy.destroy on the onDestroy hook. One other thing, don't forget to change this to your JWT authentication token. Next, we are going to create the Weavy Chat component. Copy this command, call it in your terminal, navigate to your Weavy folder and component.ts. You can scroll down here, and this is your complete component class, and paste your code here. What we are doing is we are defining a Weavy container and using the Angular ID to pass a unique container to Weavy. And here we are binding Weavy options to component properties and using @input to decorate those properties. We are using the @viewChild decorator to reference the element container as an element ref. Next, we are referencing our Weavy service component in the constructor. Lastly, we are handling destruction by removing the Weavy app in the onDestroy hook. To use the Weavy component, we will need to reference it in our app.component.html. Copy this div and paste it here. It is important to note that the component will adjust itself to the size of the parent container, so you must put a height on the surrounding container. Otherwise, the component will have a height of 0. That's it. Now, to run our application, we can use ngserve. This will open up our application on localhost 4200. Congratulations! Now you have a working chat in your Angular application.
And we're back. Hello. All right. Thank you. I was today years old when I learned about Weavy.destroy, which will be our alternate account for when we're feeling pretty spicy on the internet. So just to get started, since last week we really uh, went in deep with React, I was wondering if you could sort of walk me through what are the differences between React and Angular, um, as far as like how they're built and what you're doing with them.
Yeah, so the main difference is Angular is a structural framework, and it's a full-fledged framework, whereas React is a JavaScript library. And Angular is based on the MVC model, whereas React is based on the virtual DOM.
So by being a full framework, it would have like, in theory, less dependencies
Yeah,
than React would.
yeah. I mean, if you're interested in using a lot of third-party libraries, like React is great for that. If you want just like a full like solution, like everything's like a full solution with Angular is perfect for that. Yeah.
Um, Also, a little fun fact: MVC is also right now the current version of Weavy is built on ASP.NET MVC before we make our beautiful migration to Core. The future is .NET Core. We love it dearly. Um, so yeah, one of the questions I had sort of like posed earlier is like, because you'd mentioned it's sort of a complete solution. Uh, did you run into any troubles getting this live yourself? As
I
far as like, how would you rate the experience, I guess?
Angular was really simple to work with. I got this up and running like pretty quick, as you can tell from the video. Um, Whereas, like, compared to next week, spoiler alert, we're gonna go over Blazor. Blazor is a whole other monster. There's like so many files involved, but
Yeah,
Angular was quick and easy.
nice. Makes sense. Um, Dave, as somebody who's done a fair amount of working with people working with Weavy, how would you say like uh, things break down in terms of, and that's my dog. Uh, I guess the breakdown of like, have you noticed a lot of people working like with these different frameworks or libraries, or is it a lot of people sort of coming at it with more bespoke solutions?
Uh, yeah, it really ranges. There's a lot of different frameworks out there that people use for their applications. I'd say that React is the most popular. Angular is pretty popular as well. You know, Vue JS, .NET Core as well. There's at least for web development anyway, those are the most, I would say, the most popular. And the great thing is like Weavy can be used with any of them. It's just as you see during this video series, they're just a little bit different for each one. We've seen folks who were able to adapt it to other languages from what we have shown here on this channel and our doc site to languages and frameworks we haven't worked with or shown, like Vue, for instance. We had folks get that working in Vue JS where we don't have documentation on that. It's just
Hmm,
proves how flexible like Weavy is. So it doesn't really matter the framework or anything like that. We'll kind of fit in there nice and easy. Just matters where you put things, kind of like anything within coding.
sure. Um, Explain to me, like I'm a 5 years old. Like you had mentioned Vue.js. I assume that's another sort of like JavaScript library, is it?
I'm not clear if it's like a framework or a library. I think it's a
Hmm,
framework, but yeah, it's another uh, uh, framework to build web applications on. So it's just basically like a different set of like rules and guidelines to get a web application working and a different structure uh, and
Obvious,
a bunch of different features and stuff like that as well.
yeah. Now, obviously, because we always have time constraints as far as we need to make sure these tutorials can fit into a neat, 20 to 30 minute episode. Uh, Sometimes you've got to speed things up in a tutorial. I was curious as far as like real time, about how long did it take to
Oh,
get
real
up and running?
time? Um, less than half an hour. Yeah.
Really? Okay,
If you follow the tutorial, it's pretty straightforward and you could probably get that down a lot more.
sure. Yeah, because not to totally blow up your spot, you said uh, you haven't worked in Angular near as much as you have in React, correct?
No. Yeah, I'm much more familiar with React. But Angular is just so simple to set up.
Hmm.
And that time to that's just accounting for setting up chat. Setting up the server SDK would take a little bit more time with like downloading everything, but with just Angular, definitely like under half an hour.
Sure. And setting up, refresh my memory, assuming, all goes well, because obviously, as we learned from yesterday, anything can go wrong at any time for anybody. Doesn't matter how much money you have. About how long would you say, under ideal circumstances, it takes to set up the server SDK?
Server SDK probably half an hour. So altogether under an hour to get everything up and running. The server SDK and the chat.
Sure. Nice. And for me, that sounds good as someone who knows nothing. So I hear under an hour, and I'm like, wow, I can't even get my cable modem up in that amount of time, which is presently what I'm more concerned about. Uh, Such is the life. Well, great. I think looking forward to next week, 004. Our fourth most specialist episode. Every episode more special than the last. What do we have to look forward to?
We'll be setting up chat, continue our chat series with Blazor.
Oh boy. And just to give people some background, Blazor is a Microsoft, is a framework or a language?
Framework.
Yeah, so Blazor is a Microsoft framework specifically built around the idea of creating web apps. Um, it's much, it's fairly, it's on the new side for these things. Um, so very excited. When we sponsored Build, we challenged our team to make a lot of stuff using Blazor uh, for many of our presentations that we did while we were at Build this year. Which, if you want a sneak preview of what you're going to be in for next week, you can actually go to our Build 2021 playlist on YouTube. We have a few working with Blazor tutorials um, hosted by members of our developer team. Um, they're, they're beautiful, dulcet Swedish tones. Uh, So yeah, thank you guys again for joining me out there in the world, as well as you two, Dave and Mai. It means the world that you guys are able to take time out of your busy schedule to host this every week. Um, as always, if you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach any of us via email. It's super easy. It's our first names at weavy.com. As always, I am Andy, and with me are Dave and Mai. Um, but until next week, yeah, have a great day, a great evening, anytime in between. Thank you very much.